Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US lawmakers introduce a resolution to end President Trump's 50% tariffs on India. President Trump's special envoy and son-in-law to meet Ukraine's President Zelensky as Ukraine peace talks gain momentum. Tensions flare between Thailand and Cambodia as Bangkok vows to continue military action despite Trump's ceasefire claims. India remembers the brave hearts of 2001 Parliament attack. Prime Minister Modi along with other parliamentarians pay homage. US lawmakers Deborah Ross, Mark Vesey and Raja Krishnamurthy introduced a resolution to terminate President Donald Trump's national emergency, authorizing tariffs of up to 50% on imports from India, helping to restore Congress's constitutional authority over trade. The resolution follows a bipartisan Senate-passed measure to end Trump's Brazil tariffs and rein in his abuse of emergency powers to raise duties on imports. Representatives have been leading voices in Congress opposing Trump's tariff agenda and calling for a reset of US-India relations. In October, they partnered with Congressman Ro Khanna and 19 members of Congress in urging President Trump to repair America's strained relationship with India and reverse his harmful tariff policies. Ending Trump's India tariff is part of a broader effort by congressional Democrats to reclaim Congress's constitutional authority over trade and to stop the president from using emergency powers to unilaterally impose his misguided trade policies. California and 19 US states have sued the Trump administration over its unlawful decision to impose a US $100,000 fee on new H-1B visa petitions. California Attorney General Rob Bonta is leading the 20-state coalition lawsuit, calling the policy unlawful and warning it could disrupt sectors that rely on skilled foreign workers. Bonta's office said the fee would place significant strain on schools, universities and hospitals that depend on H-1B employees. The states joining California in the lawsuit include New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, New Jersey and Washington. In September, US President Donald Trump announced that his administration would levy a one-time US $100,000 fee on all new H-1B applications, which the attorneys general described as sudden and massive increase over existing charges. Thailand on Saturday vowed to continue military action against Cambodia despite earlier claims by US President Donald Trump that he had brokered a ceasefire between the two nations. In a social media post, Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul said a landmine blast that killed Thai soldiers was definitely not a roadside accident. Since Monday, Cambodia and Thailand have been firing rockets and artillery at multiple points along their disputed border. Meanwhile, Cambodia said on Saturday that Thailand continued dropping bombs in its territory hours after US President Donald Trump said the neighbors had agreed to stop fighting. Earlier, in a social media post, Trump said Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to cease all shooting effective Friday. Trump claimed after calls with the country's leaders to try to salvage a ceasefire he brokered earlier this year after a fifth day of fighting. While during a bill signing ceremony at White House, Trump hailed the progress made in Thailand and Cambodia and said he thinks he just did a very good job with Thailand and Cambodia.
I think we just did a very good job with Thailand and Cambodia. We had them stopped, and I've been saying they stopped 8 wars, but they started shooting at each other 2 days ago. It wasn't good. And we got it, I think, straightened out today. So Thailand and Cambodia is in good shape. So we get a lot done. 8 wars. Nobody's ever stopped 8 wars. We have 1 more to go. The easiest one, I thought, would be a country that you're somewhat familiar with, Russia and Ukraine. But a lot of progress is being made even there.
Updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner will meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders in Berlin this weekend. According to the White House official, Witkoff will also meet with his counterparts from France, Britain and Germany on Sunday and Monday. French President Emmanuel Macron, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz were also expected to attend, officials added. Trump has been stepping up pressure on Kyiv to reach an agreement since revealing a peace plan last month. The 28-point proposal has triggered a flurry of diplomacy between the United States and Ukraine's European allies, with Kyiv officials recently saying they had sent Washington an updated plan. The U.S. seizure of an oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast looks designed to further squeeze the economy of President Nicolas Maduro's country. The seizure had little impact on global oil prices because of exiting oversupply and due to the fact that Venezuela makes up only around 1% of the overall market. Venezuelan oil is already sold at a discount on the black market because of the existing risk related to the sanctions. This latest action is likely to widen these discounts even further. Besides discounts, export volumes could also be affected, and that in turn would lead to production cuts, which are costly to reverse. In addition, Venezuela has until now required companies to pay some of the payment for oil cargo upfront, and a lot will be unwilling to do so now due to high costs involved in a U.S. seizure. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has again threatened to launch ground operations in Venezuela. His administration is also imposing new sanctions targeting vessels and shipping companies linked to Venezuela's oil sector, as well as relatives of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Speaking at the White House during an Oval Office event, Trump said the United States was now stopping 96% of drugs coming in by water and warned that people that are bringing in drugs to our country are targets. On Thursday, Trump had given a similar message, saying drug traffic by sea was down 92% compared with the 96% figure he cited on Friday.
But we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water, and nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water, and now we're starting by land, and by land is a lot easier, and that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Thinking about youth, everybody.
The United States and Mexico reached an agreement on water sharing on Friday after President Donald Trump threatened new sanctions. The U.S. Department of Agriculture agency said in a statement that the U.S. and Mexico reached an understanding to meet the current water obligations of American farmers and ranchers. The statement said the agreement includes both the current water cycle and the deficit from the previous cycle. The two countries are expected to finalize the plan at the end of January. The agreement, as it stands, would have Mexico releasing 202,000 acre-feet of water starting next week. Trump earlier said Mexico owed 800,000 acre-feet of water to the U.S. and demanded it release a quarter of this amount by December 31st or be hit with a new 5% tariff. Former Bolivian President Luis Arce Catacora entered the San Pedro prison on Friday after a judge ordered him held in pre-trial detention for 5 months as part of an investigation into alleged embezzlement. Arce, who left office last month, will likely be tried for alleged economic misconduct while serving as economy minister under ex-leader Evo Morales. A hearing has been scheduled for May 12, 2026. The investigation into Arce focuses on alleged irregular disbursement from a fund known as the Indigenous Fund, intended to finance projects for indigenous communities. Arce was detained by police on Wednesday and has denied any wrongdoing. The judge said that during his pre-trial detention, Arce will be held separately from those serving their sentences in the La Paz prison and will be able to request to leave for health reasons when necessary. The U.S. Treasury Department has lifted sanctions on Brazil's Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, who oversaw a trial of his country's jailed former president Jair Bolsonaro. The sanctions lifted on Friday were part of a series of punitive actions taken against Brazil by the Trump administration, a longtime ally of Bolsonaro who had slammed the trial as a witch hunt. Moraes was sanctioned in July and Washington took aim at his wife a few months later. The sanctions against the couple and a company linked to their family were eased after efforts to repair diplomatic ties between Brazil and the United States in recent days. Moraes has meanwhile welcomed the lifting of sanctions and said truth prevailed. After months of animosity, Trump and Brazil's President Lula da Silva held their first official meeting in October, leading to a flurry of negotiations between diplomats. As ties improved, the Trump administration last month exempted key Brazilian exports from a 40% tariff that had been imposed over the trial. The United States has accused Rwanda of fueling instability as the M23 rebel group in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo threatens to derail US President Trump's efforts to broker peace in the region. Rwanda's UN ambassador Martin Ngoga accused Burundi of an attack on Rwandan territory and said Rwanda is not waging war against the Republic of Burundi and has no intention of doing that. He accused DRC of violating the ceasefire and said Rwanda was fully committed to implementing its part of the Washington peace deal. Congo's foreign minister called on the Security Council to hold Rwanda accountable. Rwanda denies backing M23 and has blamed Congolese and Burundian forces for the renewed fighting. The United Nations will appraise its policies on refugees next week due to an increase in armed conflict, the politicization of asylum law and cuts to international aid. At a global refugee forum review meeting from Monday to Wednesday, governments, civil society, the private sector and academics will jointly assess progress over the last few years and put forward new solutions. The number of people who have been forcibly displaced globally has nearly doubled over the past 10 years to 117.3 million, while international relief funding has decreased, partly due to Donald Trump's return to the White House. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world now. The Jaguari Dam in Brazil, located about 120 kilometers from the city of Sao Paulo, is facing severe drought and is operating at only 17.6% of its capacity. It's the most important reservoir in the region. The dam is responsible for supplying water to 9 million people in the metropolitan region. Tuvalu is one of the countries at greatest risk from climate change due to rising sea levels. It's a group of low-lying atolls scattered across the Pacific between Australia and Hawaii. More than one-third of Tuvalu's population of 11,000 people applied for a climate visa to migrate to Australia. Many of them have left their nation and arrived in Australia in the hope of preserving links to their sinking island. Humanoid robots take center stage at Silicon Valley Summit. The commercial boom in artificial intelligence has sparked debate under long simmering visions to build humanoid robots that can move their mechanical bodies like humans. Alaoui, founder of the Humanoid Summit, gathered more than 2,000 people, including top robotics engineers from Disney, Google and dozens of startups to showcase their technology. Hollywood honored its real-life heroes as the Los Angeles Fire Department received an award of excellence on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The event was organized after an 8th grader's school assignment letter sparked debate how real-life heroes should be rewarded like the Hollywood stars. The student's name is Eniola Taivo. She told the crowd she never imagined her words would reach across the country. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India delivers 250,000 saline bottles to Peru as humanitarian assistance. Deportation proceedings started against owners of Goa nightclub. Messi fever grips City of Joy. Messi unveils his 7-foot statue in Kolkata amidst ecstatic fans.
Dr. Shashi Tharoor, welcome to Moscow. crucial was Russia's support in India's early decades?
Mr. Khrushchev, in particular, opened up Indo-Soviet relations phenomenally. They helped India in everything from setting up the Bhilai steel plant to the whole business of cooperating with India's space programs. All sorts of things happened. The extraordinary success of the BrahMos missile. The Bra comes from the Indian Brahma and the Mos comes from Moscow.
You're watching DD India Live. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj. Nation salutes the courageous heroes who laid down their lives while protecting our parliament on this day in 2001. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with other parliamentarians, paid their tributes to the brave hearts at the Parliament House in the national capital. Taking to social media, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "In the face of grave danger, their courage, alertness and unwavering sense of duty were remarkable. India will forever remain grateful for their supreme sacrifice." President Draupadi Murmu on Saturday paid tribute to the security personnel who laid down their lives while protecting Parliament during the 2001 terror attack, saying the nation remains indebted to them and their families. In a post shared on social media platform X, President Murmu said, and I quote, "Their valor and devotion to duty continue to guide our national spirit. The country remains indebted to them and their families. On this day, we reaffirm India's commitment to fight terrorism in all its forms." Unquote. December 13, 2001 remains a day etched in India's memory when terrorists attacked the parliament, targeting the temple of our democracy. Brave security personnel, including CRPF Constable Kamlesh Kumari, laid down their lives to protect the nation. 9 heroes sacrificed everything so that our democracy could survive and our voices could be heard. Their courage and martyrdom continue to inspire the country today. Here's a report.
Some dates, they are not just dates. They are a reminder of cowardly acts which tried to throttle our democracy. A reminder of how our brave hearts stood between terror and our great nation. December 13, 2001 is one such date when terrorists of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed stormed the parliament complex and fired indiscriminately. It was a direct attack on the temple of democracy. At about 11:40 a.m. in an ambassador car bearing registration number DL3CJ 1527, 5 Pakistani terrorists entered the Parliament House complex. They moved towards building gate number 12 when they encountered the carcade of the Vice President of India, which was parked at gate number 11. One of the members of the Parliament House watch and ward staff, Jagdish Prasad Yadav, became suspicious about the identity of the car and immediately ran after it. The car had no option but to turn backwards. But in the process, it hit the Vice President's car. Immediately, the terrorists then started firing. On-duty personnel of CRPF, ITBP and Delhi police took their positions and returned the fire. In some time, the brave security personnel gunned down all the terrorists. CRPF Constable Kamlesh Kumari was the first to sound the alarm, taking a volley of fire, buying crucial minutes. She kept tracking the terrorists and informing about their movements in the Parliament House complex. Her bravery was instrumental in quickly putting down the terrorists' game plan. But unfortunately, she fell to the barrage of bullets pumped into her and became a martyr. A total of 9 people lost their lives defending the complex, including 5 Delhi police personnel, 2 Parliament Security Service personnel and a gardener. While the terrorists' bodies lay lifeless on the ground, the Indian tricolour still flew high, thanks to the supreme sacrifice of our 9 brave hearts. As the temple of democracy stands tall and strong, we must never forget their martyrdom. They sacrificed their lives so that our voice, our vote and our freedom could live on.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah visited Bastar in Chhattisgarh on Saturday to attend the closing ceremony of the Bastar Olympics 2025. Addressing the gathering, he reiterated the government's resolve to completely eradicate Naxalism from India before 31st of March 2026. Minister Shah said that when he returns for the Bastar Olympics 2026 in November-December, Naxalism will have been fully eliminated from Chhattisgarh as well as from the entire country.
हमने तय किया था कि 31 मार्च 2026 के पहले समग्र देश से ये लाल आतंक को खत्म कर देंगे और आज बस्तर ओलंपिक 2025 में हम इसके कगार पर खड़े हैं। भाइयों बहनों, मैं 2024 में भी आया था, 25 में भी आया हूं और 26 में भी आऊंगा, ये मेरा वादा है। परंतु जब बस्तर ओलंपिक 2026 में नवंबर-दिसंबर में मैं आऊंगा, तब समग्र भारत और छत्तीसगढ़ से ये लाल आतंक नक्सलवाद समाप्त हो गया।
India has handed over 250,000 saline bottles to Peru to support patients suffering from dehydration, reaffirming its role as a trusted development partner. The humanitarian assistance, totaling 32 tons, was formally handed over by Indian ambassador to Peru's Ministry of Health. Peruvian officials expressed appreciation for India's timely support. The Ministry of External Affairs said the aid reflects India's commitment to solidarity with Global South partners. India and Peru share strong bilateral relations across sectors, including health, pharmaceuticals, energy, agriculture, defense, and science and technology. In recent years, India has also provided medical assistance to Peru during health emergencies. The government reiterated that India remains a reliable health partner and a first responder to countries of the Global South. India and Jordan share a partnership rooted in trust, history, and shared aspirations. Beyond strong diplomatic ties, the two nations also enjoy a deep cultural connection. During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming visit to Jordan, a key highlight will be his trip to Petra, the country's iconic UNESCO World Heritage Site and a symbol of Jordan's rich civilizational legacy. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya brings us this report.
Amidst the rugged mountains of southern Jordan lies Petra, the legendary rose-red city. Sculpted from the towering sandstone walls, it remains one of humanity's most extraordinary creations. More than 2,000 years ago, Petra was the thriving capital of Nabatean Kingdom, a major center of trade, culture and innovation, where ancient caravans from Arabia, India, Egypt and Mediterranean converged. Carved into rose-red sandstone over 2,000 years ago, Petra stands as one of the greatest archaeological treasures of humanity. What makes Petra extraordinary is the architecture. The entire monument carved directly into sandstone cliffs, from elaborate tombs to grand temples and the iconic treasury just behind my back. This desert city was not just visually stunning, it was scientifically advanced. The Nabateans engineered a sophisticated network of water channels and reservoirs that transformed a harsh landscape into a flourishing urban hub. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Petra today stands as a symbol of human genius, endurance and cross-cultural exchange, a testament to the civilization that shaped this region. And soon, Petra will welcome a special visitor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will walk through these ancient pathways during his visit to Jordan, paying tribute to one of the world's most extraordinary heritage sites and deepening Indo-Jordan cultural ties. With camera person Jai Shankar and Ashish, this is Tapas Bhattacharya signing off from Petra.
Updates on Goa fire tragedy now. Deportation proceedings have begun against Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, owners of the ill-fated Goa nightclub, with Thai authorities coordinating with Indian law enforcement for their return. Both Luthra brothers are currently being held at a detention center in Bangkok after being moved from Phuket, where they were detained following India's move to suspend their passports in connection with the fire in Arpora. Thai officials are processing the case under local law, including steps for their deportation to India. Local police say the detention followed a request from Indian law enforcement. According to Thai authorities, an Indian law enforcement team is also coordinating formalities for Luthra brothers' return. This is possible due to an extradition treaty between two countries that is in force since 2015. 25 people, including tourists, were killed after the fire broke out, while more than 50 others were injured. Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant reiterated that strict action would be taken against the accused, saying the state government remains committed to securing justice for those who lost their lives in the tragedy. And time now for some sports news. Football legend Lionel Messi arrived at the Salt Lake Stadium in Kolkata to kickstart his three-day India tour in style. Messi, along with Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul, received a grand welcome at the jam-packed stadium. Messi took a lap around the stadium as he waved to thousands of fans who have turned up wearing his Argentina jersey. The noise at the venue is soared high as the global football icon made his much-anticipated return to India after 14 years. On Sunday, he will arrive in Mumbai before ending the highly anticipated tour in Delhi on Monday. 8 times Ballon d'Or award holder and football legend Messi virtually unveiled his 70-foot-tall iron statue in Kolkata on Saturday, with Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan present at the event. Kolkata witnessed a football and entertainment extravaganza as Messi and Shah Rukh Khan met each other in the city of joy. With football fans and dignitaries all coming together, Kolkata transformed into a hub of celebration, marking a historic moment for sports and entertainment lovers in the city. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.